Hey guys, Lynn Thomas. Welcome to another episode of Holy Grail Finder Live. And today I'm going to be actually talking with you about, I think it's an interesting topic, but it's an unfortunate topic with what we've seen lately, is, how do you plan for disaster when your home is your office? I think home business owners really have an obligation to take a look at that question pretty seriously. Are you prepared in your business with disaster preparations since you have your business in your home? And I'm not going to be covering today here issues of food and water and those types of natural disaster preparations. I'm going to be strictly covering a couple of things that you might not have been thinking of from a strictly business perspective while working out of your home. So the first thing that people really don't organize well, I think home business owners vary in their reliability in this area, is records. Okay, and I'm going to be going over a number of different types of records, some that you might have thought of, some you might not have thought of. And one of the first things that a home business owner really needs to be conscious of are estate planning records. You should have done estate planning, last will and testament, ancillary documents, and all of that should be maintained in a very safe place with copies in your attorney's hands. If your compensation plan is worth the paper that it's written on, you should be building a residual income, and that residual income should be willable to children and grandchildren. So if you've got that kind of compensation plan, then to not have your estate planning in place is going to be a significant problem if you're faced with a natural disaster and something does, God forbid, happen to you. But we see that all too often. Another area is tax keeping records. I mean, think how would you reconstruct all of your tax records for the last 7 years, much less all of the tax records for your receipts and things, for your current year when you haven't even filed your taxes yet. So that's, you can use electronic means, but it's not real helpful with current stuff. And another area actually that people overlook are client records, and I'm hoping that you are not in the habit of keeping a lot of original client records, like applications and confidential information like that. I hope you don't keep that in files. And I'm hoping that if you, on the business of selling products out of your home, that when you do, you actually have drop ship back to you so that the primary company you work alongside is keeping records for you. That makes all of your record keeping a lot easier, and it's a disaster-proof plan as long as the company's not hit by disaster. And we mentioned electronic record keeping here just a minute ago, but you can and you should be proactively backing up things on your computer onto, and I never know what to call those little, things. We used to call things floppy disks, and I can't think what you call the little fob things, but backing them up because those are heavily portable, right? Everything should be backed up on that. You can use those as well to preserve digital copies of your tax records and other types of important records. The thing, I think there are two things that people forget about though. One is usernames and passwords. So if you're in the midst of a disaster, but you need to have access to a whole bunch of things related to your life and your business, if you are doing what you're encouraged to do today for security purposes, you should have different passwords for things. You should have different usernames for things, unless it's an email address. So do you have a record of that? And is that in a place that is heavily portable if you're running from a disaster that you can grab and go? I don't recommend using services. Hey Dale, great to see you. I don't recommend using services where they're stored for you. I've read about them. I'm just still suspicious of them, but that's a discretion, for you to decide how you feel about using that kind of a service. The other area of record keeping that people just forget about in droves are your identity records and your property records. We're talking here birth certificates, baptismal certificates, marriage certificates, passports, every type of identity record, your original social security card, every type of thing that is critical to proving who you are, you do not ever want to leave your home in the midst of a disaster without. And the same with, valuable property records, whether it's an original car title, it's an original title, if you've paid off your home and, you've got the release on that lien, all of those things are paperwork that you would want to be able to preserve. You're working out of your home. You want to have all of those things. And then finally, if you've got all those things organized and you're doing a great job of keeping all of your business-related records in a way that is efficient, you've got to have some place to store them that you can just grab and go. And I found recently online, and I'm gonna do a blog post here, so you want to check back in the comments below here shortly. I'm not sure if I'll get it up today, if it'll be tomorrow or Monday, but you'll want to look back in the comments and I'll put the blog post up, and I'll try to put a link to the one that I found, a fireproof and waterproof chest, and they come in different sizes, but they're great for their protection of your documents, and you can literally grab them and go. So I would urge you to kind of think about that. But the other thing that I think is really important for a home business owner, we're really lucky because as long as we have our phones and maybe a laptop or some type of device, we generally can run our businesses. I don't know if you know folks affected by different tragedies that have been going on the last few weeks, but I do. And because of that amazing freedom and flexibility, they've been able to continue persevering, building their businesses. But it's pretty hard to keep your cell phone charged, assuming you have cell service. It's pretty hard to keep your cell phone charged if you have no electricity. It's pretty hard to keep a tablet or an iPad or a laptop running if you have no electricity. And people recommend either generators, or some type of solar program for that. Well, that's great, I guess, if you're staying in place, if you're not having to flee your home and be discommoded from your home as your business. So what I would just suggest, and I'm not saying this brand, but this is just something I've invested in, and I have multiple versions or multiple ones of these. The one that I have is, I don't know if you can see it too well, but it's called a Halo Bolt, and it has different outlets on it. It actually will charge. It's a full electrical device. It will charge anything. And it actually will jumpstart your car as well. It's an unbelievable device. And I keep it fully charged. And if we were without power, this thing would run a computer. It would run, charge all of our devices. It would run light fixtures. It can run any device that can plug in to an outlet like that. And it will start your car, which is pretty cool. So, I just, think about that, see if that's something that appeals to you. But it's incredibly portable. So if we had to flee our home, we'd have juice basically for the car and for our devices. So that's kind of it for today, guys. I just encourage everybody to think seriously, since your home is your office. How would you respond if you had to leave your home in horrible circumstances, and what would you absolutely not want to be without to keep running your life and your business? And then I think you got your answer. Hope that this was helpful, and I'd love to have your comments below the video. Hey, Samantha, let me know if you thought of something that I forgot to mention when I made my notes on this, and check back. Like I said, I'll have the blog post up, and I'll try to put a link in to these things that might help you out further. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Catch you back here, same time, same place on Monday. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend.